Hello students, welcome back to JCE Connect. So let's continue with our revision on our course on Internet of Things Technologies. So continuing with the module 3, we will be discussing the last topic in the module 3, that is about IoT application layer protocols. So IoT industry is working on new lightweight protocols that are better suited to a large number of constrained nodes and networks. So because we are connecting so many things to that particular internet, so that IoT, so many things are connected. So this industry is finding some better suited lightweight protocols. So two of the most popular protocols are CoAP and MQTT. So this figure shows the position in a common IoT protocol stack. So at the top we are saying it is application layer protocol. So obviously they are at the top, CoAP and MQTT. So in this figure, CoAP and MQTT are naturally at the top of this simple IoT stack based on IEEE 802.15.4 mesh network. So obviously at the physical layer, what we have this 802.15.4, then MAC, then 6LoW wireless personal area network, and on internet it is IPv6. Okay, so on the top, all these particular layers we have already discussed. So now we are at the top to discuss the protocols of application layer. So let's start with the first one, which is constrained application protocol, that is we are saying CoAP. So constrained application protocol resulted from IETF constrained RESTful environment working groups efforts to develop a generic framework for resource oriented application targeting constrained nodes and network. The CoAP framework defines simple and flexible way to manipulate sensors and actuators for data or device management. Okay, so it is simple and flexible way it is providing to manipulate the sensors and actuators for the data and device management. So the CoAP messaging model is primarily designed to facilitate the exchange of message over UDP between the endpoints, including the secure transport protocol, datagram transport layer security. So CoAP over short message service as defined in Open Mobile Alliance for lightweight machine-to-machine for IoT device management is also being considered. From a formatting perspective, a CoAP message is composed of a short fixed length header field that is of 4 bytes, a variable length but mandatory token field 0 to 8 bytes, options field if necessary, and a payload field. So option and payload fields are optional. So here this CoAP message format you can see. So at the bottom you have the payload optional. Okay, it is prefixed with 1 byte of all the ones. So we'll discuss about that. And then options, which is optional. Then we have token optional length assigned by token length. Okay, so we'll discuss about this particular CoAP message format. So the CoAP message format is relatively simple and flexible. So it allows the CoAP to deliver low overhead, which is critical for constrained networks, while also being easy to parse and process for constrained devices. Okay, so now this table provides an overview about the various fields of the CoAP. Okay, that message format. So this we'll discuss. So first one, starting is a version. So identifies the CoAP version. Then T was for type. So defining one of the type from the message type. So the message type can be conformable, non-conformable, acknowledgement, or reset. Then we have token length, which is required. So specifically of 0 to 8 byte of the token field. Then we have code. Okay, so indicate the request method for a request message and a response code for a response message. Okay. Then we have message ID. So detect the message duplication and use to match acknowledgement and reset message types to con and non message types. So that message ID will distinguish that between the message and it will stop duplicating them. Okay. Then token with a length of which is specified in the TKL. Okay. Token length correlates request and responses. Then we have options. So specifies option number, length and option value. So this will specify about the option number, length and the option value. Capabilities provided by this option fields are specifying the target resource of a request and proxy functions. Then we have payload. So payload carries the CoAP application data. This field is optional, but when it is present, a single byte of all ones precedes the payload. So that's what we have seen in the message format. Okay, so that is always there if the payload is there, 1 bytes of all ones. Then let's talk about message queuing telemetry transport, the another protocol which is MQTT. So at the end of 1990s, engineers from IBM and Archon were looking for a reliable, lightweight and cost-effective protocol to monitor and control a large number of sensors and their data from central servers location as typically used by the oil and gas industries. Their research results in the development and implementation of message queuing telemetry transport protocol that is now standardized by the Organization for the Advancement of Structured Information Standards. Considering the harsh environment in the oil and gas industry, an extremely simple protocol with only a few options was designed with consideration for constrained nodes, unreliable wireless area network backhaul communications and bandwidth constraints with variable latencies. So particularly this was designed for so that it can be applicable in a harsh environment. So many such constraints they have taken care. So these were some of the rationales for the selection of client server and public subscribe framework based on TCP IP architecture shown in the figure. So here we can observe MQTT publish subscribe framework. So basically here one will be the one MQTT will be the client and another node will be a subscriber. Okay. So on the left side we can see that the temperature or the relative humidity sensor we have connected. So that are the publisher which will publish the value of temperature and humidity, and the other side we have subscribers which will subscribe for this particular value from that particular census. So that are the applications. So if you subscribe, then only you will receive that. So the one MQTT client is acting as a subscriber here on the right hand side we can observe. So they will subscribe to this temperature and humidity values, and the MQTT broker, that is the server, so which will be between these two. So we'll discuss about this figure. So an MQTT client can act as a publisher and send the data or resource information to the MQTT server, which is acting as an MQTT message broker. Okay. So publisher will send it to the MQTT message broker. In the figure, MQTT client on the left side is a temperature and relative humidity sensor to publish the temperature or RH data. The MQTT server or the message broker accept the network connection along with application messages such as temperature or data from the publisher. It also handles the subscription and unsubscription process and pushes the application data to MQTT client acting as a subscribers. Okay, so it will either subscribe, unsubscribe that particular subscribers okay, and also pushes that application data to the subscriber. The application on the right side of the figure of the MQTT client, that is subscriber, to the temperature or RH data being generated by the publisher, or the sensors on the left side. This model where subscribers express a desire to receive the information from the publisher is well known. So if that particular subscriber subscribes for that particular data, then only they will receive this. A great example is the collaboration of social networking application Twitter. Like if you are subscribing or you are following someone, then only you will be able to see the post by that particular person and all, right? So that kind of thing, it is nothing but, so you subscribe for that, then only you will receive it, that particular data, or you can unsubscribe yourself. So even though if you are not subscribed, that person will be publishing anything. If you are not subscribed, then you will not be able to see that the same way. Okay, that is what subscriber, publisher, subscriber. So with the MQTT client can subscribe to all data or specific data from the information tree of the publisher. So there can be the options of subscribing from particular data only rather than the everything from that particular publisher. The process of a message broker, the presence of a message broker in the MQTT decouples the data transmission between client acting as publisher and subscribers. In fact, publisher and subscriber do not even know about each other. So sometimes even they don't know about each other, who is publishing and who has subscribed. So that can be because of this particular broker. A benefit of having this decoupling is that the MQTT message broker ensures that information can be buffered and cached in a case of network failure. So sometimes you are not connected to the internet, but that publisher will publish, but that server will keep that message, and when you are in this network, then it will you will be able to see that particular message. Okay, so even if you are not in a network for some time. So this also means that publisher and subscriber do not have to be online at the same time. So that is what it is. Okay, even though you are offline, that publisher will publish, but when you are online, then you will receive that. So here is the MQTT message format. So at the bottom, payload present in some of the MQTT control packets, that is optional. Then we have variable header, which is also optional, present in some of the MQTT control packets. Then we have fixed header present in all the MQTT control packets. Okay. Now this particular table will give us an information about the MQTT message types. So what are the different message type, the values, the flow of that particular messages, and the description about that messages. So the flow can be from client to server or server to client. Okay, and the values are something like that. Each of them has a unique value. This value will be coded into a message type field. So what we have seen in the format, message format, the first field is message type. So this particular value will be coded into that message type, which will be indicating what message we are forwarding. Okay. So what are the message types? So connect. So this is the request to connect. It will be from client to server. Then connection acknowledgement from server to client. The value for that is 2. Then publish message. So it can be client to server or server to client. Then publish acknowledgement. Okay, again client to server or server to client. Then publish received, pub rec received, publish received, or publish release, or publish complete. So these are the messages. Or we have subscriber request, client to server. Then subscribe acknowledgement, server to client. Okay. Then we have unsubscribe request, so obviously from client to server. Then unsubscribe acknowledgement, so obviously from server to client. Okay. So these are the basic things. Like we know that one is subscriber, that is what we are saying it's a client. Okay, so then we have ping request, client to server, then ping response, and client deconnecting. So these are the different messages types in MQTT what we have. Then let's discuss about the difference between what difference mean comparison, or basically we'll say comparison between CoAP and MQTT. So the factors are main transport protocol. The main transport protocol used in CoAP is UDP and in MQTT is a TCP. So typical message in CoAP will be request and response. Here in MQTT is a publish or subscribe. Effectiveness in lossy networks, it is excellent. Here it is low or fair. Security is it will use DTLS. Here it will use SSL or TLS. Then communication model, it is one-to-one in CoAP. Here in MQTT it is many to many. So many subscribers can be there and many subscriber can have many publishers. So many to many. Then strengths. So CoAP is a lightweight and fast with low overhead and suitable for constrained networks. Use a RESTful model that is easy to code and easy to pace and process for constrained devices. Support for multicasting, asynchronous and synchronous messages. That is the strength of CoAP. Then for MQTT, TCP and multiple QoS options provide robust communication, simple management and scalability using the broker architecture. So that is the strength of your MQTT. So as we are using this TCP and multiple QoS options that are providing the robust communication and simple management and scalable because of the broker used. And then weaknesses. So in the CoAP, not a reliable as TCP based MQTT. Okay, so the application must ensure the reliability. So whether the message is reaching to the other end or not. Then it is in MQTT higher overhead for constrained devices and network. TCP connections can drain low power devices. No multicasting support. So this TCP can take more power and even the higher overhead used for the constrained devices. So that is a disadvantage or weakness of MQTT, we can say. Okay. So with this, I guess we are done with